Well, all right, we are here at the castle today to do floor joist inspection. We know we got one bad one over here, but we're going to take all of this flooring up and find out if there's floor joists that need to be replaced, if there's floor joists that need to be scabbed onto, what it takes to get prepared to build the second roof. As you guys have commented over and over and over again, this sure is hard to get work done here. However, everybody's asked for a gutter update. As mentioned just a minute ago, today is floor joist, tear up floor, demo the floor to find out what floor joists need repaired and or replaced. However, we did come back and inspect our gutters. I think we've got a lot of water. You guys can see the trajectory of that water is right there, and we're creating a washout that goes down this rock here and then goes out all the way down to the bottom. So the gutters are obviously taking a whole lot of water away from what used to go inside the tower, actually. So we're calling the gutters good. We did get up on top and inspect up on the inside. There is no water holding in the gutters either, so we've obviously got them pitched properly. We don't have any areas that looks like there's been any leaks. The inside is good and dry all the way down the tower. It is supposed to rain tomorrow. If it does rain tomorrow, I'm probably going to come back and just confirm that everything is working one more time. But today's project is tearing this floor up, so let's get that going. This first floor here is basically one of those sticky floors, so it's not too difficult to get up and get loose. We did find out that it burns pretty well, so we've been just pulling it up in sections as needed. Obviously, the further we get along, the more sections are needed. We chuck them over the backside and burn them up. Obviously, this stuff here was not UV proof. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You see how green all of this is. You get back here where the UV being sunlight, right, didn't hit the floor. It's a nice, pretty brown. But obviously that flooring did not have UV protection. So this also tells me that whatever flooring we put in here, yes, we're not going to have the full doors, but we're going to have several windows in here. There's going to be a lot of UV. We need to make sure that we have some type of UV protected floor. Maybe, maybe we lay tile up here. I don't know, but we're going to figure that out, and we're going to tear the rest of this floor up. The next part that is definitely more difficult, and it's not that it's hard, there's a lot of screws in this hardy backer. The cement board is still in good shape, so we're going to try to salvage it. In case we do decide to put tile up here, we can put that hardy backer back down over top the plywood, as long as the plywood doesn't need to be replaced, and we can throw tile right down on top of that hardy backer. So let's get the rest of this floor up, and then we'll tackle the hardy backer. Well, got the hardy backer up. We still have this one suspect corner, which we knew we had a little bit of termite damage. Very little bit right here. It doesn't look like they got in very far. We'll pop those boards up, and we obviously have a moisture problem all the way around the edge, which we knew we had that. That's where the framing in the openings and building that pitched roof, whatever distance up, somewhere right around in here probably. That's going to solve the moisture problem. We now have to get the plywood up. That's probably going to be a little more fun. It looks like it is nailed instead of screwed. So we're going to sweep up our mess here from the hardy backer. We do have all the pieces over here. We did break a couple, but we've got the majority of the hardy backer still there. So if we want to put it back in this exact same shape, we can. If not, we can utilize those pieces for something. Because hardy backer, you always have a use for hardy backer. So we're going to pop the plywood up, and then we're going to do an inspection on some floor joists. Well, here's what we have found so far. There's an entire concrete pad poured underneath this, so far, entire thing. I'm going to make the assumption it's also over there. Now that we have made it this far, we can actually see down in here. You can see how much further out the actual structure is from this room, if you will. And, you know, I've had a lot of comments about build the room out to the edge, build the room out to the edge. Yeah, I understand all that, and I'm not saying you guys are incorrect, but that roof there keeps me from being able to do that. And the budget for this project keeps me from being able to do that. As much as I would like to gain 2 foot of square feet, usable square feet, I just basically what it'd come down to is I'd have to take this roof off and then build a whole new roof. I don't see how, with as low as that is, I'm 6 foot tall, and you guys can see that that roof is right there, so I don't even have room to scab in boards and run the roof basically through the gutter here. They're just, it's just, unfortunately, it's not, it's just not there. So we're going to stick with our original plan. Everything that I see so far, all these floor joists, which will end up being the soffit joist out there for the new roof, every one of them's in pretty good shape. It looks like he might have used some old lumber right next to treated lumber. The old lumber is what had the termite damage, but the treated lumber has nothing. And I don't see, I've torn up a lot of this floor, and I don't see any live or active termites there now. We will treat it. I mean, you can see where they've gotten into this board, but again, that's an old non-treated board right next to a treated board, so I'm not 100% positive why he did that. And then there was also some comments, is that thing attached properly? Is that thing attached properly? Well, I'm here to tell you, this sucker, the floor ain't going anywhere. It comes over and it's actually poured into the concrete, and it goes up and over, and then this ½ inch here, or 3/8 inch actually is poured into the concrete there, and it goes all the way over. It's poured into the concrete there, And then that one comes all the way through every single one of these boards and is poured into the concrete there. It's poured into the concrete here. It's poured into the concrete there. It's tied off there. This sucker comes off here, we have way more problems than just regular old wind. And honestly, with how that's poured in there and how it goes through the center of those boards, a tornado I don't think will take the floor off of this thing. And then let's add to that that this entire actual tower is capped with concrete. My goodness gracious, there is it might take this roof off. It's attached, and it's attached decent, but well, there ain't nothing gonna happen below there. This is a pretty sturdy structure. So we're gonna tear the rest of the plywood off here and see if we have any more issues. I'm pretty confident, judging by this wall, we're gonna have some issues with some floor joist here. But again, we're running a board out here. Each of these corners of that octagon, we're going to utilize either the floor joist to connect to, or we're going to run a new board out, and then we're going to put a perimeter that's an actual octagon shape all the way around this thing, and then put a pitched roof out over top of the rest of that structure. So let's get the rest of this plywood tore off and see if we find anything else. The rest of this here, I mean, I've got some termite damage on an old board, but I got a really good board right next to it. So I'm not too concerned, honestly, about those floor joists. We'll find out what we have over here. I mean, it's a cobbled up mess, don't get me wrong, but it's a usable cobbled up mess, and I gotta figure out what that pipe's for. I know what that pipe's for. This pipe over here is actually ran with the rest of the septic system, so you can actually put a toilet up here, and then this garden hose, that's actually the water. Yes, that's the water supply to the top of this thing. So hopefully that's not truly poured in concrete, and we can snake some PEX back down and get PEX down to the water supply so that we also have water up top here for the future plans. So let's get the rest of this plywood tore off and see what we got. I like watching the barges go by. That barge there is full of coal. Nothing like adding a little bit of good view to the videos that I do here. We got a nice setting sun off to our right, and a barge going up the river. Well, I sure am glad those guys are hibernated for the winter. Holy moly. That would not have been any fun if I'd have pulled that sucker up and they would have still been in there. So, big old lovely nest. I think you guys remember me saying on the outside when I was doing the gutters, I got to spray some bees. Well, I found their home, and it definitely was not as far out as what I anticipated it to be. So, anyway, found a bee's nest. Good thing it's gone. Good thing they are gone. Let's get that last piece up, and we'll show you guys the rest of the floor joists. Well, there you have it. Looks like this backside over here is going to be our most questionable area. And if we go out here on the porch, you can kind of see it too. We're good and solid right here where I'm at. But right there, it gets a little questionable. So we may have to do some interesting things here. That back there seems to be solid. The straight, instead of the octagon adder, if you will, this straight one here seems to be pretty solid. These over here are pretty ate up. There are no termites in there, but it is water damage, which is to be expected. So I feel like we've got one good board here and one good board there, which should allow us to make this angle out further on the outside edge of that porch. My hope was to get 4 feet out from the building all the way around. So seeing that I have a good board here and a good board there, right? All I have to do is extend that board out to get my 4 feet, and then cripple on a board over here to this one to get my 4 feet, and then that should allow me to connect this piece to that piece over there, which then will make this outside gutter board, if you will, to ensure that I can wrap this thing all the way around with the octagon shape again. The sun is setting. We do have light in there, but it is Sunday evening, so we're going to clean up our mess, and that's going to take probably a couple of hours. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Yes, it is a cobbled up mess in here. Honestly, I think I can take all these brackets off and get that floor back to being flat, put plywood back down so that we can get to where the floor is actually level instead of all humpity bumpity. Hopefully you enjoyed it. That's where we're at. Renovations are always fun. You never know what you're going to run into. The structure's a little bit better than what I honestly anticipated, so I'm feeling pretty good about it, and I feel like we can build off of this, replace some bottom plates over here on this side, replace some bottom plates there, frame in the rest of our walls that we want over in this area, and that should allow us to move right along. So, as always, like, comment, and subscribe.